When I inherited the old farmhouse from my late uncle, I thought I was getting a fresh start, a quiet place to escape the city. But what I found there was far from peaceful. The very first night, I noticed something was wrong. A strange chill ran through the halls, and shadows seemed to move on their own. I tried to shrug it off, until I heard her voice. It all started with small things. Doors that I swore I had locked were suddenly standing wide open. Lights would flicker and die with no logical explanation. At first, I told myself it was just the old wiring, or maybe my own imagination running wild after a stressful move. Hell! But then, the whispers began. A woman's voice, so faint I could barely hear it, calling out my name in the dead of night. I would freeze at my bed, listening, my heart pounding, wondering if I was truly alone or if someone else was in the house with me. Then, one night, I saw her. A pale figure in a long, flowing dress, standing at the very end of the hallway. Her eyes, they were empty, yet they seemed to be staring right through me. I wanted to scream, to run, but my feet were frozen to the floor. She didn't speak. She didn't move toward me. She just watched. I spent hours trying to rationalize its stress, grief over my uncle, or maybe just pure exhaustion playing tricks on my mind. But every single night, she would appear. Sometimes she would be closer, sometimes just a fleeting shape at the edge of my vision. But she was always silent and always watching. I knew I couldn't live like this, so I started digging into the farm's history. Talking to old-timers in the nearby town and sifting through dusty records at the local library. That's when I learned about Margaret. She was a woman who had lived in that house decades before me. Her story was a sad one. She had died tragically, all alone in the house, her passing unnoticed for days. The locals whispered that she'd never really left, that her spirit still lingered, trapped by her own deep sorrow. Suddenly, everything started to make a terrifying kind of sense. The inexplicable cold spots in the middle of a warm room, the constantly flickering lights, that bone-deep feeling of always being watched. It wasn't just in my head, was her, was Margaret, forever haunting the house she could never leave. One night, I finally mustered every ounce of courage I had. As I stood in the living room, feeling that familiar chill creep in, I spoke out into the darkness. "Why are you here?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Faye." The temperature in the room dropped instantly, my breath turning to mist in front of me. A soft, mournful sigh seemed to fill the entire house. And then, just like that, she vanished. I never saw her fully again after that night, but the house felt different. It was peaceful, somehow, as if my acknowledgement of her pain was all she ever wanted. Inheriting the farm was supposed to be a new beginning for me. Instead, I discovered a story of loss, sorrow, and a lonely ghost who just couldn't let go. It taught me that sometimes the past is never truly gone. It just waits patiently, in the shadows, for someone to finally notice. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe for more real-life paranormal encounters, chilling tales, and true stories from the shadows. And remember, places aren't haunted by what they hold, but by what they've lost. Thanks for watching.